Welcome to Afcon 360 degrees. My name is Wale, and it's so nice to be with you. Obviously, to discuss about what has happened on day one of the African Cup of Nations. So, it's. I don't know if you watched the games. It's been very interesting. Some very interesting games today. Despite all the labaloo about can Cameroon go ahead to host these games and all the threats and counter threats from European club sides, Afcon is on, and it started today in at the Olembe Stadium in Cameroon. The first game, obviously, of Group A of the competition, which obviously involved Cameroon and Burkina Faso, ended 2-1 when Cameroon's Vincent Abubakar scored two penalties to ensure they won their first game against Burkina Faso as the Stallions of Burkina Faso. If you're very conversant with African football, you know most of the African teams usually have the names of animals or birds, you know. So it was the Indomitable Lions today against the Stallions of Burkina Faso, and it ended 2-1. The game that just concluded about a few minutes ago was between Ethiopia and Cape Verde, which obviously ended 1-0 to Cape Verde. And in that game, Yared Ballet had a red card very early in the first half. I think it was about 8 or 9 minutes of the first half of the game. That was for Ethiopia. I was a defender. He had a red card, and obviously, when the red card came, everyone thought maybe this is going to be like a cricket scoreline. But no, Ethiopia stood there, made a stand, and obviously just made sure they had a respectable 1-0 loss. And they actually did. They gave a very good account of themselves against Cape Verde's team that at, at one point during one of the qualifiers, Nigerian Spiders actually struggled against. But if you watch the game, it was the Ethiopians actually gave a very good account of themselves. Don't forget that Ethiopia actually had won the African Cup of Nations back in 1962. It's a long time ago, and they won it was obviously they were playing out in home soil because the African Cup of Nations that back in 1962 was played in Ethiopia, and Ethiopia went ahead to win that cup. So after about a few years in the doldrums, Ethiopia are back in the Africa Cup of Nations where they should be because there's no way you're going to talk about African football and you wouldn't mention Ethiopia, obviously, because of what some sporting administrator has done from Ethiopia. We're talking about the late Tesema, whose African Cup of Nations back in the days. The former one was actually named after him, was named Tesema Cup because of what he did to African football. So it's always nice to have Ethiopia back at the African Cup of Nations. So that was the second game today. We had Ethiopia losing to Cape Verde, which, well, I know if you're an Ethiopian watching, but it's not the end of the world. It's just the first game, first match of Group A. There's every chance. You never know what could happen. Don't forget you play that game with 10 men against Cape Verde, and obviously you gave a good account of yourself, like I mentioned. And we're talking about the Cameroonians. Obviously, the Bukinabes, the Stallions of Burkina Faso scored the first goal. Actually, scored the first goal in that game, and it was an exciting game. It was an exciting game, but it got turned over when the penalties came, and it was just like a basketball game. You know, you attack me, we defend. I attack you, you defend. But it was quite an interesting one. And obviously, preceding that was the opening ceremony, very impressive opening ceremony at the Olympic Stadium when the Cameroonians gave it a good account of themselves. I mean, despite all the negative press we had about the competition, despite COVID, despite European club sides not wanting to release players, we see how the likes of Bernard Traore from Aston Villa playing. We had Andre Onana, who obviously plays for us. For Ajax, that is going to Inter Milan in the coming season. We also had the like of Choupo-Moting, who plays for Bayern Munich, and so many other interesting stars that have already played in this first game that we saw. And looking at the Cameroonian lineup, there, very strong lineup. Like I mentioned, Onana was in goal. Um, it beat our four with the first goal of the competition, but they still had a very solid team there playing 4-1-4-1. With if you remember, I mean, if you watch the English Premier League or the English football, you also very much know Zambo Anguissa. I used to play for Fulham. Um, Also was in the game. Toto Ekambi, he obviously was also in that game, and Abubakar, number 10. So far, although there's just 2 games played in the competition, is already dictating the pace in the run up to the Golden Boot. You know, everyone has talked about this is going to be a Mo Salah competition with the Pharaohs of Egypt. But the likes of Abubakar already, dictating the pace, and with 2 goals already, I think Mo Salah will probably have his hands full. But again, this is just the first game of the competition, and who knows? Who knows where the Golden Boot we end up? Who is going to end up with? But it's so gratifying, it's so exciting to see the likes, the biggest of the biggest footballers in Africa, coming back home to Africa to participate in this wonderful tournament. We've talked about Mo Salah, Sadio Mane is also there. Edward Mendy from Chelsea is also there, although he's had just tested positive to COVID. And we also have the Nigerians, obviously. Kelechi Iheanacho is there. Emmanuel Dennis is sadly missing. Odioni Gallo is sadly also missing. But we also got the likes of Taiwo Uni, who plays for Union Berlin. And all the great stars, count them. They are there representing their fatherland, the motherland, in this great competition called Afcon. Afcon 2021, obviously, because it was delayed due to COVID. And that's why it's called Afcon 2021. So if you're probably wondering what's going on here, we're in 2022, why is it called Afcon 2021? It's just because of COVID, all right? We missed that competition. COVID was postponed till January, and that's why it's known as Afcon 2021. At some point today, I will be hoping to be joined by 1 or 2 people, someone from Cameroon, one of our reporters in Cameroon, who is obviously will be reporting for Afcon 2021 360 degrees. This is a show coming to you from our stables. We've got someone there in Cameroon, a reporter who is going to be reporting for us. Sometime today, he will be joining. I'll be asking a few questions about his feel about what's been going on in Cameroon. He'll be reporting live from Garoua. That's where the Nigerian national team, the Super Eagles, are actually based. So we'll be asking him questions about what he's seeing on the ground. The people of Garoua are coping with this, wonderful African fiesta. What the training schedule is like for Nigerian players and obviously Egyptian players, because he's also had 1 or 2, conversation with not just the Nigerian team but also the Egyptian team. So we will be, as soon as he links up with us all the way from Garoua in Cameroon, we also will be chatting with him. We're asking him a few questions and just to give us a heads up about what we should expect, because one of the other big games that's going to come up will be on Tuesday when Mo Salah's Egypt, they call it Pharaohs, are going to be playing against Iheanacho's, Ndidi's, Winnie's, Maduka's Super Eagles of Nigeria. So that's one game we're actually looking forward to, because people have been saying, you know what, this is Mo Salah's competition. Nigerian's captain has said, listen, it's not just, that's Mohamed Musa's come up to say, this is not, the competition is not just about Mohamed Salah. They've got a lot of African stars, and obviously Nigerian stars are going to be playing. So it'll be very interesting to see how that game pans. Is Salah going to be a star of this competition? Is he going to be the Golden Boot winner? Is he going to be the best player of this competition? Is he going to be single-handedly actually win the competition for Egypt? You know, we will see. We will definitely see. We'll be on the lookout for that. So like I said, as soon as we get our correspondent Toby, who is in Garoua, Cameroon, we're trying to link up. As soon as we get him here, we will be talking about all these things. And thank you, people that are watching us, and Happy New Year to you, Alexandra. Thank you for joining us. And I did forget to say that. Apologies for that. So Happy New Year to you. Happy 2022 to you. Hopefully it's going to be a very great year for us, because 2021 was filled with struggles, the COVID and what have you. But you know what? Football still went up, which is why we are really hopeful that this year the Afcon has kicked off the football season, football competition season, which is going to culminate, which is going to end with the World Cup in Qatar sometime before the end of the year. So hopefully it's going to be a very good year for football. It's going to be a very good year for you watching me, and obviously for us here. So so thank you for joining us. So oh yeah, thank you, Alexandra. All the best for the year 2022. I can't believe it's already 2022, But it is. So thank you. All the best to you and all those watching us. So yeah, let's just go back to the game that we had today, the Cameroon and Burkina Faso game, which, like I said, was more like a game of basketball. It was a very interesting game. We had everything you could ask for in any game. It's happened today. We've had penalties, we've had red cards, we've had yellow cards, we've had goals, we had controversy, because some people actually wondered why for example, the game between um, um, Ethiopia and Cape Verde. Actually, we had a gap of about 5 minutes debating when the officials were having a look at the red card for Yared Belay, the Ethiopian player that was given the red card. It took them 5 minutes to decide that it was a red card. Well, again, that was the first time VAR was actually making an appearance at a major tournament in Africa, and we all know what VAR have done to football, even in Europe. Because sometimes it could be, the decisions could be very controversial, but we want to get it right. Right? That's what we want. It don't matter. It don't matter how long they make sure they've got that right decision. As long as the decisions are right, the referees can always have the minutes spent on deciding, on making that decision, before the end of the game. Just like we saw the game today that probably ended with a 5 to 7 minutes or probably 9 minutes extra time. So the good thing is VAR is here. Whatever decisions we feel are not up to scratch, the officials can always look at it and make sure that they get it right. And I actually honestly feel having VAR at the African Cup of Nations is a very big plus, because it's going to make sure that personally, I think it will ensure that we do not have a discussion about should it not have been goals or what have you. Should have been a penalty, was that a dive? Which we wouldn't have that, hopefully, fingers crossed, in the Africa Cup of Nations. So yes, VAR is here at the African Cup of Nations, and hopefully we have a very wonderful competition, and at the end of the day, the best will go home with a trophy, the African Cup of Nations trophy. and obviously the best team. That best team, if you ask me, if you probably want to ask me what that best team is, my answer to you will be, well, I do not know, because there are lots of best teams, big teams, great teams in this African Cup of Nations. And the thing about the African Cup of Nations is you can never bet on a particular team to do well. We've seen two games already, and uh, the African champions could come out of those teams that we watched today. There'll be other games coming up tomorrow, involving obviously very big teams also. So you never know. You can never say, I want to put a bet on what country is going to go on to win the African Cup of Nations, because it is the African Cup of Nations. So things happen. I mean, we've seen the likes of Zambia that people never rated come into the African Cup of Nations, actually won it. When you talk about Zambia, no disrespect now, people will probably wonder, Zambia, do they really play football? Yes, they do. They've won African Cup of Nations twice. So it's you can never discount any African nation when it comes to the African Cup of Nations. Every team there is out to win that competition. And this was obviously echoed again in an interview by Taiwo Awoniyi, who plays for the Super Eagles, when he was interviewed by the um, by, by the Super Eagles media team, when he said the African Cup of Nations is just not any tournament. Everybody's there in there, to win it. So you cannot just say we got favorites. You can't say because Egypt has got Mo Salah, or Senegal has got Mane and Edu Mendy, or because Nigeria has got Didi, Iheanacho, Ahmed Musa, and the likes, or Rebo, then they can just stroll and win the Nations Cup. It don't work like that with African football, So it's a team thing, and it's all about what team comes out that day. What teams want it more. I'm not saying not every one of them don't want it. They all want it, but at that particular time, it's what team wants it more. So that eventually carries the day. So we're still. I hope I'm not boring you that much. We're still waiting to uh, connect or establish connection with our man in Garoua, Cameroon, who I hope hopefully will be chatting to, getting the feel of what's happening at the Nations Cup. We've got eyes down there. Okay, we've got someone down there reporting for us. So we will try as much as possible to establish contact with that person, and obviously to bring you up to date information about what's been happening, not just in the Super Eagles camp, but also the Pharaohs of Egypt's camp and other camps there too, and most especially the opening ceremony, what people talk about it. Um, is it what we expected? Is that the best Cameroon could give? I don't know. So we have someone down there that hopefully we'll be talking to. But if you're watching and you probably you've got a question, or probably I've got something you say about the games today, about the opening ceremony, about what team you probably tip to win the Nations Cup, African Cup of Nations, just feel free to join us, or probably just drop a comment and we can obviously discuss that. Okay, if you're watching. All right, so that's the link to join us. Okay, it's just on the screen at the moment. So just click on that link and you can join us, and we can talk about the what I have termed African football fiesta. You know, um, I can assure you, you see some very wonderful football on show if you continue to watch it, and I'm so glad that um, top TV stations around the world are showing it. Because there's something good coming out of Africa, and that's why they are partnering and showing these wonderful games, which I am sure a few of you have seen today. So if you want to join us, join our studios, feel free. The The link to join us is on the screen. You're watching it. It's on the screen right at the moment. Feel free to join us, and then we can talk about, the Africa Cup of Nations. So, just to round up, sorry, just to again just let you know, those are the groups, the Africa Cup of Nations that you're watching on the screen. You got Group A, B, C, D, E, F. Group A, we've got Cameroon, Burkina Faso, Ethiopia, and Cape Verde. You saw them play today; they've already played. In Group B, Senegal, Zimbabwe, Guinea, Malawi. In Group C, you got the mighty teams, the Black Stars of Ghana, Atlas Lions of Morocco, Comoros, and Gabon. Gabon will obviously have the Arsenal star, Obama Yang. Hopefully, will be there. Maybe he's tested negative to COVID now. Hopefully, you see him play. In Group C and in Group D, you have the powerhouses of African football. We've got Nigeria, Super Eagles, Egypt, the Pharaohs, the Sudan, Guinea-Bissau. And Guinea-Bissau, obviously, we have a player that's obviously played for Barcelona. His name, Elias Moraes, he's in the competition. So be on the lookout for him, Elias. So if you're a Barcelona fan, one of your former footballers, he's going to be at the pitch near you for Group D. In Group E, we've got the Desert Foxes of Algeria. We've got the Sierra Leone, Equatorial Guinea, and Cote d'Ivoire, the country that produced Didier Drogba. So those are in Group E. In Group F, we've got Tunisia, we got Mali, Mauritania is making an appearance at this year's Nations Cup. And you've got Gambia. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine recently, and he said to me, don't be surprised if Gambia makes it out of Group F. And I was like, what, really? I mean, we've got Tunisia there, we've got Mali there. Those are like perennials attendees of the Nations Cup. Tunisia, obviously, we know how powerful they are in North Africa and African football. And Mali, the Eagles of Mali are obviously one of the top teams in Africa. But he was like, okay, just mark this down, write this down somewhere. I am tipping Gambia to be a force to be reckoned with in Group F. Well, I will hold him to his words. I already told him I'm going to hold you to your words and see what the Gambia is going to do. It's a tiny African state in West Africa, but loved by tourists. But hopefully they would spring a surprise, just like my friend said that, said, Wale, you know what? I'm tipping Gambia to make a step into the next stage in Group F. What do you think? You've seen all the groups from Group A to Group F. What do you think will be making? Who are the two teams that you think will make it to the next rounds of these groups? Personally, if I'm allowed to give my opinion, I don't want to be sticking my neck out now at the moment, but there are some teams out there that obviously you obviously think, nah, no matter what, they would be on their way to the next round. I mean, we're talking about Cameroon, obviously, at the host. They've got the home advantage with them. They've got very, very useful players that have been doing really well all over the world. So my tip, especially for Group A, at least Cameroon should be making an entrance into the second round. In Group B, I'll be looking at Senegal because they are just too good. It will be disappointing if Senegal don't make it past Group B. It will be very, very disappointing. They've got loads of players, loads of players, and Guinea also a team that back in the days, Guinea have always been a dreaded team. They used to be a bunch of talented, wonderful individuals back in the days, Guinea, and hopefully the likes of Naby Keita plays for Liverpool. We hope to carry this team on his back and make an entrance into Group B. But then in Group B, never discard the likes of Malawi and Zimbabwe because he never, like I said earlier, it is the African Nations Cup. No team is a pushover. Okay. In Group C, I probably would be tilting towards Morocco and Ghana, obviously because Ghana, top team, top team. But again, Gabon is there. Comoros, of course, a lot of discomfort to some African players, African teams in the past. So again, watch out for Comoros. Brilliant team they are. Um, Small island, but filled with very, very brave, brilliant players. In Group D, that's very tight. Um, Definitely, I'll be going for Nigeria and Egypt. I'll be going for Nigeria and Egypt, but you never know. In Group E, that's looking at it. You probably would just say now Algeria and Cote d'Ivoire because they are like the standout nations anyway. But anything can happen in Group E. But personally, I think I'll be going for Algeria and Cote d'Ivoire. And obviously, like I said, in Group F before, Tunisia and Mali. But I have been told and I've been warned, look out for the Gambia. Hopefully, the Gambia will spring a surprise there. So those are the groups really. Those are the groups we are looking at. Those are the groups of the African Nations Cup, Afcon 2021, which obviously kicked off today with the first game, Cameroon v Burkina Faso, that ended 2-1 to Cameroon, and Ethiopia and Cape Verde, that ended 1-0 to Cape Verde. So, unfortunately, we've not been able to establish contact with our man on the ground in Garoua, Cameroon. We apologize. We would obviously do all we can to get him on this show when next week come on. We've been unable to gain contact with him due to the erratic nature of the connection there because we've tried, but it's not been we've not been able to establish that contact. So hopefully, our next episode, we would be able to get him and obviously talk more about the preparations, the preparations of the Super Eagles, especially an Egyptian national team, the Pharaohs, for the Tuesday's cracker. But hopefully out there you will have watched my preview for obviously my preview for all the groups, and like I said. Just apologies for that. I was just thinking maybe we got the reporter on the ground, but no, it's again we can't get him. So we'll leave it there for you today, and on our next episode, we will definitely be having him on the show, and we'll be discussing Afcon proper with someone on the ground there in Cameroon. Okay, so before then, I want to say thank you to you out there for watching the show. Again, apologies, that's just me you're listening to. We'll try everything we can to establish contact with our man on the ground, but it's been impossible. As soon as we get on next episode, we will definitely be bringing him on the show. I will be talking more about Afcon and what to watch out for, and obviously reviewing all the games that might have been played. Okay, so thank you so much for your time. My name is Wally, and I want to thank my series producer, Yomi Mobuja, who's done everything he can to establish contact with Cameroon today, but unfortunately, well, that's technology for you. So we'll see you in the course of the Nations Cup. We'll be back with you soon. Okay. Want to wish you a very wonderful week ahead of you, and please don't forget, just keep on watching the Afcon. Okay, and if you like what we've done today, please give us a thumbs up and tell someone about us. All right, see you next time when we come on the show. Thank you. Have a good night.